Okay. I think I'm remembering everything that went into this story. I mean, that clip. I think I'm covering it all over again. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. Okay. This was something else I noticed. One day I had the strange idea. Well, not a strange idea. Fenn has said something to the effect of you need to read the poem slowly, analyze every word, which to me means go slowly. You know, go back and read Thrill the Chase over again, and then read, go back and read the poem. And one day I just had the strange idea. I said, I wonder how it would seem to me if I just read it really slowly. And I did. I said, as I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, Spock, I can keep my secret. I'm sorry. As I have gone alone in there. I read the entire poem like that, maybe even slower. I was having a slow day. Nothing to do. And I'm reading it like, as I have gone. And all of a sudden, that first stanza, I realized something. He's saying something extremely crucial to me in that first stanza. He says, as I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, which to me means, I think he's talking about the spot. And you could almost, at one point I was kind of going, maybe he's implying movement, like as I've gone alone in there, like as I'm going, that use of as, like as I'm going in, as I'm going along, as I go alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where? Question mark for me, because we know Fenn has made it very clear, verbalized it more than once, and it's in Thrill the Chase. He likes to screw up punctuation, likes to play with words, all right? So therefore, I just said, okay, well, I'll do the same. He didn't put a question mark there, but it's a strange place not to have a question mark, so I put the question mark there. I can keep my secret where? And hint of riches new and old. As I've gone alone in there, going in, and with my treasure, real, bold, real treasure, I can keep my secret, not the treasure. People could say, well, they're one and the same. Wherever he puts the treasure is a secret. No, I think he's literally making a distinction right there. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasure bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Where has he told us? There is only one place. He has said there is a blaze out there that will get your attention. And then when you see the blaze, look quickly down, your quest to cease, and you assume you'll then see the treasure chest. But in this particular situation, he says, as I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old. Where has he told us the clues are? They're in the poem. Where has he told us the hints are? There have been debates about this on the net, and I was even one of the people that said at one point, probably in some video, clues, hints, who cares, it's all the same. I think it's the same. He has told us numerous times, and he says in Thrill of the Chase, that there are hints in the book. So when he says, I can keep my secret where, and hint of riches new and old, he's talking about this book. It's all in the book, just like he has said numerous times. If you have the treasure, if you have the poem and you have the book, you have your solution. This is where the hints are. Here, the blaze is not a hint. He's never called the blaze a hint, in my knowledge. If you want to comment and tell me he called the blaze a hint one, I don't think so. This is the only place the hints are at. I mean, maybe he has given us some information in... Oh, excuse me. Maybe he has given us some extra hints, if you will, in interviews and stuff. But right in this book are the hints. And the secret. I think the secret's in the book too. And it now fits in with my solve that way. And that's that second part that suddenly I found intersecting an old part, if you will. Had a solve, couldn't quite figure it out in a way, and then all of a sudden came this new thought from the book. And it just happened to intersect on this place that physically exists in this place that I was just at. Now, here's something else, and this is a little vague, but it's room for thought to me. That's the first stanza. Then he says, begin it where warm waters halt. And of course he goes on to say, and take it in the canyon down, not far, blah, blah, blah. Begin it where warm waters halt. We've all just chewed this thing to death, just beaten that thing to death. That's a nice expression. We've really overworked this issue as to what it means. But we've all kind of decided, or a lot of us have decided, we're talking about either warm ending or cold starting, right? If you say something warm is ending, you assume the opposite is happening. So he starts off the second stanza by saying, begin it where warm waters halt. And then we literally go on a journey, taken in the canyon down. There's no place for the meek. The end is drawing nigh. If you've been wise and found it, don't wait around looking. Tarry scant. Take the chest. And then he ends by saying, then he gives the bit about, dying. And then he says, so here at the end, he says, so hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. Begin it where warm waters halt. At the beginning, what I think Fenn has said himself is the first clue of the poem, or is the starting point for the treasure hunt. Begin it where warm waters halt. He says you have to have that correct. If you don't have that correct, you're screwed. And then at the very last stanza, he says your effort will be worth the cold. It almost seems to me as if he is beginning it where it goes cold and takes us on a journey through the cold. A cold river, possibly. A cold place near the top of a mountain where it's always very cold, possibly. I think he has said, we know it's in the mountains. I want to say he has said it was near the top of, might be near the top of a mountain. But anyway, it just struck me. Begin at where warm waters halt, where it's cold. Take this journey looking, take this journey looking. Your effort will be worth the cold. Last stanza. Almost as if this journey is a journey of being metaphorically or physically in a cold place. I don't know. I'm trying to think of clip 2, trying to think of what I went over. I want to say I've covered it. There is something that I want to make sure I do by the end of this series, and it's to tell this wonderful poem. I've got the video and the clips of it that I did today of this wonderful book. And again, this, I'm telling you, I'm warning you right now, if later on I'm talking repeatedly, you're going, Eric, I already said that. It's because of this clip I had to redo, okay? And I don't have a photographic memory. but this wonderful book. This guy gets this book in this auction, and it's from this lady who in the 1800s was adopted. She was a illegitimate child, a girl. She was adopted by an Indian woman who worked as a cook and a cleaner in the basement of a horror house in, I forget what town, what city they lived in. And I mean, it's like Little Big Man, if you've ever seen that movie. It's this ongoing story. Oh my God, the stuff that's in it, I mean, it's so real, it's got to be real. I mean, all the guy could say is, look, I found this book, I bought it. It's this, basically, it was a big handwritten book that someone had scrupulously kept writing through the years. And it's just this woman, this girl who grows up in the Wild West. I mean, literally grows up as an illegitimate kid in a brothel, and her adventures, and it's just mesmerizing. It's like at one point she talks about, because this woman who adopted her is a Native American. I think she was Blackfoot. She even references things like, you know, I would call her Blackfeet, but now you call it Blackfoot or something like that. You know, these little asides, you kind of go, wow. But her mother, of course, taught her to sign. And so she was always on the white side, if you will, of society because she was a white girl. But she learned all these Indian ways. I got the impression... I haven't read the end of the book yet. I got it on Kindle. I'm pretty sure she's all white. At times I almost wonder if she's half Native American and half white. I'm not sure. But anyway, she really learns the ways of the Native American Indians well, to the point where she signs. And it's so funny because she'll talk about how, just say she's with a group of whites, say she's on a wagon train, and these Indians come up, and when they see her, you know, she'll do her thing, you know, whatever, her sign, to let them know she signs. And they'll come up, these Indians, this is hilarious, they'll come up and they'll be like, so what's it like hanging with these idiots? And she's like, yeah, they're stupid, but there's a couple of nice ones, and, you know, sometimes if I sweet talk them, they give me sugar or something, you know, so whatever she says. She kind of says, it's just so funny to think of the Indians talk. It's very real. Let's just put it that way. It's a very real... You kind of go, well, yeah, that's what they would do. Of course, you hope no one else knows sign that's standing around. Or just like, you know, sometimes when you're at the... oh, never mind. So anyway, folks, that's it. Like I said, I'm trying to recreate clip 2. I think I've done it. And so I'm just going to have to go on and now hope that as I go on with the other clips, this all makes some tangential... There's continuity to my series. All these strange stories. The woman with the pies. Breaking the pies. I think this book is so, he says a few subtle hints. I think he says at one point. I think there's so many hints in this thing that it's, because parts of it are just, and I know I've harped on this before and other people have too, just so many weird stories. The whole gypsy story. I mean, the gypsy story could be real, but it's still just an odd story. This treasure hunt, it has been a really, really fun and interesting thing to be going through. And when I go out this spring, summer, whatever it is, right now it's very cold where I went in the fall. Very cold. So what's my point? The point is, I hope you're enjoying this series, and I'm going to take this clips and now edit them into my series and get back to work. Everybody? Oh, and then the next clip's going to be me discussing the whole thing about the thumb over the eye. I know the next clip starts with that, so that's why I knew to make sure that was part of this clip. Ever seen anything more unprofessional in your life? But what the hell? At least I explained what I'm doing, right? I like to say there's some sort of... No, not really. I was going to say the quirkiness is kind of... Nah, not really. The camera just didn't record when I thought it was recording.